Yeah.
What do I know?
Sunday. I thought it'd be the same now.
But anyways,
It was
I have
hard to
perfect
get
quantum
down.
WT.
This meeting is called to order.
They're gonna make it or not?
Certification of
It was
compliance with
muggy
open meeting
there
laws.
yesterday,
Who
especially.
just came out?
I locked it behind me.
Roll call. Hefkin,
Here.
Mitchell,
Here.
Radecki,
Here.
Christopoulos,
Here.
Miller is here. Approved minutes for the 5/8/19 special meeting. Does everybody look at
Yeah, I
them?
looked at them, I make a motion to approve them.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to approve and second the minutes from the 5/8/19 special meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. The minutes are approved. There is no public comment. No one signed up. Correspondence. We have nothing. Anybody? Chris has nothing. Nobody has anything. Okay. Reports, operations. Everything good? Well, you and Dave are the ones that handle most of that. Is there anything going on?
Grass looks good, machine must be working, huh?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's time to bring that up. I had a couple of concerns from some pilots in the last few days about the condition of the runway. Would that be later?
No, that'd be in operations.
Because what their concerns were is in the center, which we all know that the center has some rough areas to it. And on some, tail draggers or spring gear airplane that, could hit that, or anything. I think we're at the point where we need to start looking at possibly having the center graded out more than what our equipment can do. And that would obviously not the time to do it because we'd never get grass to stick, but would have to look at talking to someone about doing that.
More than you, because last time there were some low spots and you filled them.
Right.
More than that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a couple of concerns that they thought it was getting to be quite a bit. I mean, Luke can probably talk about that, but a spring gear airplane is, you can see it more than something that has like a landing, like a rebound shock absorber thing, and just a couple of pilots had talked to me in the last week.
I've not heard anything about that, and I was out there, I probably did 100 landings over the weekend, in spring steel gear, and I think it's awfully good.
Well, it might be, but I know if we're going up and down the tractor, I can see it
Yeah.
used. I mean, so there is enough. If you land off to the side, it's fine, but the center, it has, I think we've got good grass growing right now.
Beautiful.
But just the condition of it in the center, where everybody lands in that area, so.
Has that ever been regraded since they moved the runway?
Not to the best of my knowledge. We actually added some, we did it in the spring a few years ago.
Dave did it.
Right, but we don't have GPS on the tractor, so I was using a laser sight and stuff like that. But I think, there's been settling, and then because we've had some summers where the grass wasn't growing, the sand or the dirt just blows away because everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, the lion's share of folks take off and land in the center, and every time they apply power, that takes some more of that dirt away, creating more. I mean, so it's kind of like a pothole, just kind of keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Is that something that you would want, when would you want to do that?
We'd have to do it in the spring where you're going to get some grass to grow.
So we could do it as a budget item this year and set it up for next year?
Yes, I would think so. Because you couldn't touch it this year.
I wonder if we could incorporate that in with somehow with the rest of the stuff that's applied for the grant for. I don't know if they could roll it into it or not.
They probably could, because we did leave some room in there for maintenance kind of things. For improvements on the airport, that would be improving the runway. I'd have to ask Lucas about that, if that would qualify for that. One of us should ask him.
And I did ask the NOTAM office, they said that they would not allow us to close the center of the runway. We could do it's either all or nothing, so when we get to that point, I mean, obviously that's the logistics, but Because I even thought about putting a pilot notice, and they said it would be more like an advisory, try to land off to the side. So maybe we could look at doing something like that, but an actual notum, they wouldn't,
Okay,
accept that.
all right. Well, if we do it, I certainly cooperate, and we'll just move around. I try to use the edges in.
Right. I think most of the local pilots do, but.
Just to keep the wear and tear.
Right. And even knowing that I've accidentally landed in the center, I mean, I even know it, and I said, oh, yeah, I shouldn't, and so, but it's not a dire consequences right now, but I think that with the dryness, the grass isn't really growing all that much, and every time somebody takes off, you could just see a cloud, and it's always right in those same spots. So, that was the only thing I had.
Okay, did you have anything?
No.
Yes, okay. There's no airport clubs here. Financials.
You have it in front of you.
I just wanted to see how high that was.
Hmm?
I just wanted to see how high that was. That was only last month.
Well, yeah, right. Total income where it says 19,516, that's because all the leases of the annual rents are coming in.
But you said you got most of them already?
I've got a large majority of them, yes, which is surprising. They all
Since
came,
we were supposed to be in by July 1st.
and most of them came by that, which usually doesn't happen. Well, the way I see it, we're right on track with everything.
Well, if no one has any questions, I'm gonna make a motion to accept the budget.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the budget. All in favor?
What'd you say?
Aye.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The budget is approved. Okay, anything from the airport manager?
Yes, but I'd like to wait till the new business,
Okay. Did you want,
it's gonna be number one when you get there.
did you want to read the letter from David Green? Did you want it read into the record?
From,
From David Green.
Can I go up here?
Yeah.
Sure.
we're talking this one here.
Yes.
Dear Mr. Miller, as an ad, thank you for contacting us regarding the proposed extension of Royalty Drive on the west end of the Meyer Municipal Airport. As we have previously discussed, the road extension would negatively impact the safety of airport users, excuse me, as well as result in an unsafe condition for road users. Aircraft accident data indicates aircraft accidents are most likely to occur in the immediate vicinity of the runway environment. The proposed road would traverse an area designated by the Federal Aviation Administration as runway protection zone. The runway protection zone is designed to remain clear of all people and objects and which may otherwise increase the severity of aircraft accident. The construction of a road in the runway protection zone would be inconsistent with intent of the area and contrary to the airport design standards. Additionally, runway approach clearance standards require a minimum clearance slope of 1 vertical foot to every 20 horizontal feet away from the runway end. Extending Royalty Drive north from current location will result in penetration of this 20-to-1 approach surface. In other words, vehicles utilizing the road would be considered an obstruction to a minimum clearance slope and cause pilots to fly at a steeper descent angle resulting in less safe approach path. Pilots who fly a shallow approach may be at risk of striking a vehicle on the road. In addition to our safety concerns, the extension of the road will also conflict with future airport development as shown on the airport's current airport layout plan. As a recipient of state funding, the town of Palmyra is obligated to comply with the Wisconsin Administrative Code Trans 55. The extension of Royal Lee Drive could potentially result in violation of several of these obligations. Specifically, Trans 55.06 sub 1B. An airport owner may dispose of land when it's no longer needed for an airport purposes after receiving approval from the Secretary. Due to the above list of concerns, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Bureau of Aeronautics would not approve a request to sell the property to the village for the purpose of constructing a road. Trans 55.06 2A. An airport owner shall safely operate and maintain all airport facilities. A road constructed in this area would be considered unsafe due to the impact of the runway protection zone and approach surface. Trans B 55.06, parentheses 3A. An airport owner shall maintain clear and safe runway protection zones. A runway a road constructed in a runway protection zone is contrary to this requirement. Trans 55-.06 8B. The airport layout plan and each amendment, revision, or modification to the plan shall be subject to the approval of the Secretary. The Bureau of Aeronautics will not approve a modification to the airport layout plan extending Royal Lee Drive through the runway 09 protection zone. In summary, the Bureau of Aeronautics will not approve a request to dispose of town property or modify the airport layout plan in order to extend Royal Lee Drive. Furthermore, any construction of the road in this area not subject to the Bureau of Aeronautics approval would still be considered a violation of the Wisconsin Administration Code Trans 55, in which case the department may pursue appropriate administrative or legal action. If you have any questions, please contact Hal Davis at 608-267-2142. Okay, so we got that on the roll.
Thank you. Danny, would you like a copy of that, just
Yep.
to
I would like one.
include it?
I have a copy for you when I'm done. I have a copy for all this for you.
Cool, thank you.
So now we're gonna move on to, that's part of it. This is number one. I guess you should read that because you're the chair of it. Number one here.
In new business, we have no old business. Discuss and possibly take action on the stormwater system issues at 88C and fees from the village.
Okay, so you all have the one that says the Village of Palmyra, and you've read it. Would you like me to read it? So that everybody knows that?
I think it's a good idea.
Do you understand? Okay. Palmyra Town Board of Supervisors, it has recently come to our attention that the Town of Palmyra Airport parcels 171 0516 2221 002 and 171 0516 2222 000 have not been getting billed for our stormwater utility charge. During the annexation lawsuit, the village, at the request of the town, decided to treat these properties as non-user until the court made a decision. I have enclosed a copy of the December 16th, 2013 village board meetings stating this, and also a copy of the letter dated May 29, 2013 from Josh Gajewski explaining this as well. I want to stop there just for 1 second before I read on. That was the first annexation that was overturned. So that first paragraph, or second paragraph, is basically nothing, okay? After the court made their decision regarding annexation, the village utility billing department inadvertently forgot to add these 2 parcels to their billing system, which I'm taking out as the second annexation when it went through. At the May 20, 2019 committee of a whole meeting, the village board was made aware of this and voted to proceed with quarterly billings for the 2 parcels mentioned. We will not attempt to recover the back charges since the time of the annexation. However, beginning with the second quarter billing at the end of June, we will be billing the stormwater utility charges for these 2 parcels, consistent with the requirements for all other parcels in the village. I have enclosed a memo from MSA Professional Services showing the quarterly charge for each parcel. As they state in the memo, the town of Palmyra can apply for a credit application enclosed. This will allow a 50% credit of stormwater utility fee if granted. The non-residential fee for the application is $500. Fee schedule enclosed. If you have any questions, please feel to contact us. Sincerely, Lori Miller, Palmyra Village Clerk Treasurer. So if you turn your page, your next one's going to have, the next page is going to have the memo from MSA. 3.1 acre parcel and a 5.1 acre parcel, which are the buildings, and hangars, taxiways, on the road that come up to 8.2 acres. And that's $2,579.21 per quarter. Okay? Now, just stay with me. If you go to the next page, those are copies of the stormwater bills that I got from the village that I did pay because I had to. And on your next page, no, I'm sorry, at the bottom of your page in your yellow, there, I must have left mine in there. So if you take your $2,579.21 per quarter, so times 4, it's going to give you $10,316.84. There's 67 buildings here. I'm counting the hangars, T-hangars, this building, the building next to us, the flying club. So if you divide that by 67, you come up with $153.98 per year. Okay? And I'll flip to the next one. I should get this one here. I should have them highlighted for you. You see that highlighted on there?
Yeah, taxes, number 10.
Number 10, and that's per your hangar lease contracts, which states that the leasee shall pay all taxes and assessments that may be levied against personal property of the leaser of the building in which he may erect on the lands leased exclusively to him, or her, whichever. So, there's one I was looking for. With that being said, we talked to the lawyer, our attorney, and he said that we can assess that fee to the hangar owners and whoever. Now, you all know there's gonna be a big bitch for the bond.
Well, folks can, gripe all they want, and I know that, 2 of us on this board would be directly affected and 1 would be indirectly, but, if it's what it is.
They're all affected, it's,
Right, so even
That's- that's a D
these
angle
ones
also.
would have to, so everybody would
Yes.
have to.
they're all affected, everybody.
So if it's something that's required, you know, I don't like it, but I think it's part of what needs to be done.
Can we back up here? I'm confused about the math, how we're getting to how many acres. So is that just under roof plus pavement?
That is what was figured out by MSA.
That's how MSA figured the land is of 8.2 acres of 2 parcels. I went to the village and talked to Scott Hallbrecker, he's a supervisor or whatever you'll call him, the boss down there. And he pulled it up on his GSI, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
And that was,
That's right.
and he pulled up those parcels and it covered the buildings and the taxiways.
Because if I just do the math on all the buildings roughly, I'm less than, just over a half an acre. You know, roof.
They're basing the hangars on a single residential, what's it called, a single residential unit?
Well, it's not the building, it's
This
not the
parcel,
building,
it's the area
it's
of
not
the
the building,
parcel.
it's the area on which it sits.
Regardless of all the grass
It's
around.
all that.
Right.
Which is not impervious.
It's that, there's 2 parcels, and I'm not, don't quote me on this, but it's something about like this and like this, roughly speaking. It's not each individual building.
Oh, but it's calling this an impervious area. So probably at least, when you roughed out that drawing, probably only a third of that is actually impervious. So what's the definition of that?
The definition of that is you're not gonna like it any more than I liked it. Here's your definition right here. That's who you talk to, and I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna get for an answer out of that.
Okay.
That's MSA's deal. And that's the village's,
Administrator and engineer.
here, I'll tell you for
So then if we had more hangars to split the bill, it'd be a little
it.
less.
So, I asked
Because
Scott,
as you add buildings, they're gonna add to the bill.
I asked Scott Hallbrecker, I said, how do you figure that? And he said, and this is nothing to hold to any paper or anything. He said, to his knowledge, roughly, if you figure that average house is this size, that's what you get charged.
But these are small little houses.
It winds up being acres, so I don't know how he didn't even really, when I got, didn't really get it.
So does every house in the village get charged
Yes.
equivalent of $153?
Well, no, I don't know if that's equivalent to that. We all get storm sewer charges, yes.
Okay.
How exactly to figure out, I don't know.
And theirs is run into the water bill, so they don't,
So with that being said, I said to Scott, in front of Don Hagan's old hangar, that holds water, as we all know. And by your hangar holds water, as we all know, that whole ditch does there. And Scott told me, he said that culvert up there was draining into the village. And I said, I don't think so. So him and Ed went up there, they took out the transit and shot it. His hangar would be about half flooded before water ever got up to that culvert.
I've gone there when it's raining, just to see for myself.
that,
And it's coming from village land into the airport.
All right.
well, the culvert is 1.5 inches higher on the town side than the village, or on the airport side than the village side. But about 20 feet away from that culvert is another French drain that's probably 6 inches lower. And he was gonna give you all the numbers that we shot.
Which I know the water never even gets to that second.
No, because from that point, you come back, I don't know, 80 feet, and there's another French drain, another 80 feet, there's another one, and then there's another one just before we get down by your hangar, and they're like steps. and it doesn't make any sense, cause everything is still gonna come down to his hangar, which is the lowest point in that
And
whole area.
yours is the lowest looking on the topographical. They have in 2 foot increments, and you're the lowest, your area. So you'd have to get a lot of water before it ever got to that culvert. So the reality is, it's never.
It never would, you'd have a lake before it got to that culvert.
Right. Which would be over the road and into
It'd
the.
be all over.
Right. So,
You would actually have a lake, because it's probably 2 feet higher up
so,
on that end.
with that being said, and I beat this dead horse round and round, and the bottom line is Scott Hallberger has to sign off on this, being the village supervisor, whatever he is. And he said he has no problem doing it, but he needs the proof to back it up. He's just not gonna sign it, which I understand. I don't blame him. So, now we go back to the Bureau of Aeronautics, because we're dealing with the Bureau of Aeronautics. We're dealing with government. You know how fast they operate. We can get this bill reduced by 50%, we can get it down to half that, obviously. But by the time we get done with all the engineering and such, we're talking realistically probably a year.
Unless the engineering firm that built the French drains can just
If they
plug it
accept
in,
it.
if they can just plug it in.
Yeah.
We sent the application to Lucas, and he was gonna check it out. I haven't heard back from him since. That was what, last week you sent it to him?
Yes.
And although Lucas is an engineer and he could probably read that application and do it, they don't do that.
So.
But at the end of the day, even if they got it reduced by half, you're already looking at many hundreds of dollars to be assessed to the folks on the airport.
I say that again, I'm sorry.
But I mean, even if you get it reduced by 50%, you're still looking at a new tax, a new something or other for the stormwater
An assessment on each hangar.
that isn't being done right now.
Right.
Correct, yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely correct.
So if we do nothing, it's this number. If we get it reduced, it's still a big number.
We have to do something with the current number, because right now I'm currently paying the full charge until we get it changed. So at this point in time, the breakdown is $153.98 per.
So you could assess it for this year in addition to the thing, and then next year reassess it.
It could be reduced. If there's any more hangers come in, it's gonna go up.
And we don't know, Chris paid the full amount here, and we don't know that once we get the application in, if they accept it, if they will credit us for paying full amount when we should only have been paying half of that.
But since the hangar owners haven't paid anything yet, is that 100 and some, that would be for the whole year?
That'd be a year.
So if they did get a credit, then they could get something credited back.
Then, yes, right.
Yes, but I'm, as we speak, I'm going on what we currently have. I'm not on ifs and buts, on this is what we have, and this is all, I need to know how to handle this bill. Because at the end of the day, it's $10,316.84. That's the end of the day. And there's nothing you can do about it. They just Oshkosh this one through this, and there's nothing you can do about it. They have the right to bill you, and that's the way it is. Period.
If, will that number stay steady, assuming no credits and no nothing, or is that just one of those things where they take a dart and throw it against the wall? I mean, do the other residents of Palmyra Village, is it steady, or is it, so
Oh,
they're
yeah,
not?
we get that stormwater on every bill.
No, that's.
Why is it going up though? Is it increasing each year?
Well, it does go up, yeah,
Don't they increase it
Yeah.
like 3%?
something like
Is
that.
it every
It's-
year,
there's
every
an
other year? I
automatic
don't remember,
increase to
yeah.
it,
It's automatic.
And, the DNR wants them to, improve the sewage treatment plant. So I don't know if, when they do that, if they'll put it on their stormwater charge or not.
Of which we don't get any of those benefits.
We get none, we get zero from the village.
And there's all these people that never wanted to come and help fight about the annexation. All the times that we were asking pilots, hang owners, and nobody showed up. Here you go. Now it's starting to bite you.
And I wouldn't hold my breath at all on getting anything back.
No, I won't either.
I mean,
Because I asked them
if
to
I had to
become,
bet 10 grand, I bet you're not getting anything
I
back.
asked them
It'll
to
be
become
paid this
retroactive
year.
and I never got an answer.
At the very best, they would reduce it next year, and that would. it's about
If we fill out the paperwork, we can get it reduced. Scott will sign it,
We'll do
but
it.
he has to have the paperwork.
And
As
the
soon as
proof.
though we're dealing with the Bureau of Aeronautics, it's gonna probably be, I'm gonna guess a year, because that's just how they move.
Yeah,
Because we're not gonna go hire an engineering firm
no,
to do exactly what they're gonna do.
it would cost more.
It would cost them more than we're gonna pay, right?
When you had discussed it with the attorney, because obviously the leases had come up, folks had paid, so this can be assessed anytime? So we don't have to wait till next year, it would be part of this year? So you'd have to send out another bill for this year?
Yes.
Special assessment?
It's a
Yeah.
special assessment.
And it would be the second, third, and fourth quarter, so it'd be, you know,
Would you look for a full payment, or would you get into the quarterly from
No.
the?
no, full payment. So if you take, divide that by 4.
And the T hangers, you'd have the same thing, you'd have something divided up,
T-hangers are the same.
T hangers are considered a hanger.
Everybody's one.
so then you divide up,
By 8,
but is that 8 times 100 and some, or is that one building at 100 and some?
8.
So each T hanger person would have
The same amount.
Same, everybody's getting the same one.
and that's all been cleared by the attorney, it's all legal?
According to contract, he said it's all good to go. You're legal, you're legal to charge that. That's why I gave you a copy of that, number 10.
Ouch.
Price of doing business.
Well, it depends, that's crooked.
This whole deal is crooked,
This is what we've been fighting for the last,
6
Yeah.
years.
I mean, this is part of what we've been fighting.
So at this point, since you've really kind of run it through the attorney, you've run it through everybody, you've tried your dog honest, you've got some numbers, what do
We received this the 1st of June.
Really?
Yes, that was when we received it.
Yeah.
May 31st, 2019 is when, if you look at your, that's when we got the,
Yeah.
that's when we got the information that we're being charged for.
Is there any late?
And the amount.
Later that you got the.
Yes,
Excuse
there's
me?
a late fee
A few
too.
weeks later when you got the bills.
Yeah.
You mean on top of this, or there's a late fee, so if we dink around for
And not
6
pay it,
months,
yeah, there's a late fee.
so there's a late fee, it's a pretty certain thing, so what do we need to do?
Well, there's not a late fee because I paid it.
No, but if
If
you
it wasn't
did
paid,
pay
there
it,
would be a late fee, you're correct.
Okay.
The problem with not paying it, because I had considered paying half, I told Ed, I think I'll just pay half of it. And the percentage of the late fee was minimal, but now we're talking a year before it gets done, and I really doubt, like Frank said, that they're gonna make it retroactive, so you're gonna have to pay it all anyway, so I pay a late fee on top of it. Pay it. If it becomes retroactive, and we have credit, great.
So then, if we're all paid up, but that's only, you only paid up for the quarter.
Yes, you get billed by the quarter for storm, sewer, and water. And water, however, yes,
So which we don't have any water,
doesn't matter.
I understand.
You're gonna get storm, sewer every quarter.
so you will be assessed the fee, you pay it to Chris, you pay it to the airport pays the bill.
Do we, how about a time frame? What does it take to send out to the folks and?
Well, that's what I wanted, that's why I have all this information, to see how, first off, how much you wanna charge.
Well, you can't go backwards. You have to charge it, at least what's being billed.
Well, I understand it, but do you wanna have 153.98 or to make it like 155 or 160, you know what I'm saying?
Make it even 160.
And then when you want us, I would like to send them out,
Can you do that legally?
I don't know, I have to ask the
I
attorney.
don't think you can assess for more than
No,
what you're
okay.
paying. Because the same thing would come through, I mean, like we have garbage collection and somebody wants an extra, trash recycling bin. It's $5.34 a month. That's what they will be assessed. That's what the cost is.
Okay.
Well, just mail the bill for 153.17 or whatever.
153.98.
And then what type of time frame would you give the folks to get it back in? When's your next payment due?
The first payment's already been made.
Right, but the next one, I'm sorry.
Next quarter.
So you'd have to have it prior to that, of course. Or you have to make another payment for,
Well, it'd be just like the, leases.
No, Dave's asking, when is your next payment to them due? You have to pay them,
October 1st.
It'd be just like the leases, I'd send it out
So
3 weeks before and say it's due on, that's what I'm,
we send it out now, and we want it payable immediately.
right, because that's kind of what I'm getting at, is if the next one is October, you want to send it out, give some time for
And
them
this-
to respond.
This does work out for what the time span of the lease payments are, from July to July. So Chris gets the bills out now, okay, you owe for the second quarter.
like, second, third, and fourth.
So, yeah, so you're, you know, it'd actually come out to that. And then next year you'll get it with your regular lease notice.
But
I
then
wanna
you're
get it
gonna be
up to-
behind a month, you're gonna be behind a quarter for January.
I wanna get it to where it's caught up. Back to
No, it
double.
wouldn't.
Because next year, their leases are due July 1st, right?
Correct.
Okay, you were already paid in January, so you're a quarter behind.
But then once you get your money from everybody, that would refill the coffers.
But I
and-
mean, you could, if, for your July leases, here's how much your lease is, $200, and here's how much your assessment is, so July 1st, you can pay everything all at one time for your lease and stormwater.
Yeah, that's what I wanna
For
get
a
it
whole
to,
year.
right.
Yeah,
So-
206.
Yeah, it's 206.
Yeah, they
So
only had that
actually,
we added
what
$6.
you wanna do
it
is
would-
send them a letter for the second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter of 2019, plus the first quarter of 2020.
Oh, I got you, so that the next billing will, okay.
Right.
But
So
But then you're
July-
getting back into what I asked earlier about splitting them up. Are you gonna wanna do that, or are you just gonna take a yearly payment? Happens that this year you get paid, and then next year you're late, yes, but then, you know, you'll be in July, be all caught up. Because otherwise you're gonna have to send out a bill early for the quarterly, and I don't know if you wanna
I
get
just
into
send them right, I just send them right now, from now until,
the end of the year.
no, from now until
January.
June 31st.
Right, but that would cover this year, and then next year when you send them out
It'd
again.
be July to, or, it would be the same as your lease year. I gotta get a cover from now until the next lease year.
Does that have?
Well, basically, because we're already, yeah, because we've already paid it. It would be recovering and going
Right.
to the following lease.
So even if we vote to do it, does that have to go back to the town?
No,
Because you're modifying the lease?
well, I think it's
No,
already in
we're
there.
not-
You're
we're not
not
modifying
modifying
the
lease
lease.
at all.
It's already in there, Dave.
The lease is in there, that's number 10.
Number 10 right there, it's already there.
Yeah. You're right, you're right.
So,
The only way you would modify anything is if you ended up getting a 50% credit, then you can turn around
you're
and say.
modifying the assessment, though, you're not modifying
Right.
the
Yeah,
lease.
we're not modifying the lease.
So then you'd get a credit and
Yeah.
this would have
Right.
to.
Yeah, I mean, if it was credited, yeah,
So you pay,
your next year's
you pay
bill
for
would
a
be
year,
less.
the next, you pay it, if we had the credit by next year, you would have no payment for a year.
or very
If-
small.
Well,
if-
50%,
No, if you pay the full boat now and we get the money back,
but you're only
Yeah.
gonna get
You get the
50%.
credit.
It was retroactive.
then you wouldn't, your next
Right.
year would be paid up.
But then the year after that,
Then it'd be back to the 70, whatever.
so then you're not changing the
$76.
lease, it doesn't need to go back to
Right.
the court, okay. Well, it sounds like you've done your homework on it, and it sounds like we're up against the wall unless we get a nice sizable donation from folks around the airport or something. Tax deductible.
That'd be one of the few things.
Well, it's just something that we're gonna have to do. When we were on the board, I know citizens complained about stormwater charges. I had a neighbor that wrote on his water bill, and he didn't even have water going to his place, but he got to pay that. He right under, paid in protest.
Well,
So-
yeah,
so we-
there's stormwater systems, ditches.
There's piping that cost them a lot of money to put in, but what really sucks about it out here at the airport is it's all sand, and our stormwater doesn't run into any plumbing, you might say, that the village had to do. You know, our water is just feeding their well.
But at
It's
this
certainly
point,
not causing any
that's a
harm.
fight that we can always fight, so right now
No.
Chris is up against something here, and
Well, that's a losing fight
Yeah.
too. We can't fight it. No, I.
Well, you
saw
can't
it
even
on-
fight it.
No,
They have the right to
something
charge
that's
you,
just gonna have to be
period.
paid. I'll bet $1,000 to a hole in a donut. There will not be any refund.
I don't
Okay,
know either.
we just go ahead, send out notices that this has to be paid, and
probably explanation
And
why.
that-
Do we need to
that's
make a
how-
motion on this, or
No,
just?
I'm not, well, just wait, though, I'm not done yet.
Oh, there's more?
Yeah, that gets more fun, because now what do we do when somebody doesn't pay?
What do we currently do if they don't pay, Ron?
Because if they don't pay their land lease,
What if they don't pay, what do we do now, if they aren't paying their lease?
Well. This is what else is due, but. Let me find it. I didn't give you guys the full copy, obviously.
of the lease for the hangars. But basically, you have to start legal proceedings against that person.
Yeah, that's
So-
basically what it says, yes.
So I mean, a T-hanger person would be evicted.
Yep.
So there'd be eviction proceedings, and then there would have to be, you know, it's no different than if someone doesn't pay their, you know, lease on the hangar. and-
Correct.
So, it's part and parcel, I would think, right? It's a bill that's owed.
Yes.
It's no difference if they don't cut the grass around, or they don't maintain, or it's spelled out in the lease.
And there were plenty of opportunities for everybody to speak in the annexation thing, and nobody did.
I think, and even if they would've, this is one of those backdoor things of unintended consequences that people would have not even known. And even if they would've spoke, it still would have been the same
They
result.
probably would've, but that,
But you are right, at least, you know, some satisfaction the folks would say something, but, so I guess if we're gonna require a motion, if this is,
yeah, we need a motion.
Yeah, let me make a motion to go ahead and send the bills out for $153.98, is it, Chris?
Okay.
yeah,
$153.98.
$153.98 for the stormwater charge.
I'll second.
but that also could be changed for next year, so if they reassess or something, if it's a
Right.
different number, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a motion and a second to send out the bills for $153.98 for stormwater charges. Is there,
Can we say, village stormwater charges?
yeah,
Yeah, put their name on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to write some kind of letter and explain it, and
Most folks aren't gonna understand what you're talking.
I'm gonna
Send them this stuff.
oh, we might have people show up at the October meeting, huh?
Then they should.
my, I think my best explanation is gonna be, if you have any further questions, to contact the village clerk, and not me, because I'm not the one that, because I went around with them guys down there, and he's like, well, you haven't paid yours, so listen, I didn't ask to be annexed, you guys annexed us, so don't give me unpaid crap. You know, this is none of our doings whatsoever, this is all on you people, so.
It's called,
The best
stormwater,
explanation would be,
it's called stormwater utility charge. We could, maybe if we send them a letter or whatever, they could officially use that term that they used on our motion.
The other thing, well, we have a motion standing, but further discussion. The other thing is we don't pay it, and what are they gonna do to us?
yeah, it's not like they can turn our stormwater off.
They can't turn the water off,
Well,
they can't shut our electricity off, they can't do anything.
Talk to our lawyer see what he says.
Well, then we're right back in court again.
Yeah, we
But
don't
we're
do
not in
that.
court in something that we'd wanna be, because we would be delinquent.
Mhm. I think we have to pay him, we don't have a choice.
Yeah, I think so too.
I believe so too.
Any further discussion?
No, we have to pay it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to authorize Chris to go ahead and send the bills out so we can pay the stormwater fees to the village. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed. I'd like to hold off on it, you brought up a good point, but it's gonna pass, but I think you brought up a good point.
Okay, one nay. Okay, any updates on the petition presented to the Bureau of Aeronautics regarding upgrades to AEC? The town passed at the last meeting a resolution authorizing the Bureau of Aeronautics to do the 6 things that we passed at that special meeting. And that's been sent to the BOA now, so everything is in their hands. So if you have any questions,